Pressure starting to dominate. Weather fronts moving in, bringing the risk of some heavy rain and thunderstorms in places too. This evening time, fairly quiet, though as the bands of showers get going, we'll see some hefty downpours developing, particularly across Northern Ireland down into Wales. Some heavier showers developing across Northern England and Scotland during the early hours as well. But another very warm night to come. Temperatures widely 15 to 18 Celsius, so another fairly uncomfortable night for sleeping. And a different picture for Monday morning. Sunny spells and scattered heavy showers developing. So if we take a look at the details, we can see northern Scotland, some low cloud initially, best of the sunshine across the Highlands, drizzly across towards Aberdeenshire. But the risk of some heavy showers already pushing into southern Scotland, clearing Northern Ireland, still some for northern England as well. Bands of showers pushing across Wales, parts of England, but in between, sunny spells and temperatures on the warm side up to around 21 Celsius at 8 a.m. And then through the day, we'll see these bands of showers push north and eastwards, some thunderstorms developing, could be quite torrential across northern England into southern Scotland come the afternoon. Some localised flooding possible here, but not everywhere we'll see the showers. Lots of places could stay dry, particularly across England and Wales, and fresher for all, the low 20s generally, but still towards 30 Celsius in the southeast, so still well above average for the time of year. Low pressure still dominating into Tuesday, bands of showers, longer spells of rain pushing north and eastwards across many parts, feeling much fresher as the winds pick up too. Temperatures generally will be around average for the time of year, reaching the low 20s, maybe 23 or 24, and it stays similar through the rest of the week with further rain at times too. See you later.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash, so make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 11 p.m. I'm Ben Leo, and this is Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. It's 1 year on from the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump as he reflects on that unforgettable moment.
It was unforgettable. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I got whacked. I think they shot 8 bullets. Then one got me.
And we've got some great pictures coming in from New Jersey, where President Trump has just been celebrating with the Chelsea football club team after they beat Paris Saint-Germain in the FIFA Club World Cup. You won't want to miss those moving images in just a tick. Elsewhere, more migration loopholes as the Daily Telegraph tomorrow reveals diversity and inclusion staff are now eligible for skilled work visas in Britain. And on the continent, tensions are running high in Spain as riot police are sent out to subdue clashes between protesters and North African migrants. And joining me this evening is Bill Rammell, Chloe Dobbs, and there he is, the comedian and former headliner, Paul Cox. First, let's get your news headlines with Lewis Mackenzie.
Good evening, I'm Lewis Mackenzie, and here are your latest GB News headlines. A small plane has crashed shortly after takeoff at Southend Airport. In a statement, Essex police say they remain on the scene of a serious incident where they were alerted to reports of a collision involving one 12-metre plane. Images posted on social media show a plume of fire and black smoke coming from the crash site at the Essex Airport. Police remain on the scene alongside fire and ambulance services. More than 1,400 small boat migrants have crossed the English Channel since Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron signed the Migrant Returns Agreement. This comes only days after the PM hailed the agreement with Paris as a historic deal, allowing for a partial return of small boat migrants arriving in the UK. Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander says 12,000 migrants have been stopped since Labour came to power.
The way we're going to solve this problem is by working with the French authorities. This is a pilot scheme. We're keen to see the scheme ramp up if it's successful. We're also working with the French authorities on making sure that they can take action in the shallow waters, in the French waters off the coast of France, to be able to stop small boats from reaching our shores in the first place. We have, by working with France, prevented about 12,000 channel crossings since we came to power, but there's more to do.
Meanwhile, the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, says that the deal is nothing more than a gimmick.
Only 6% of illegal immigrants crossing the Channel will get sent back to France. The other 94% will get to stay in the UK. And obviously, having 94% of illegal immigrants staying in the UK will not act as any deterrent at all. It's another gimmick, just like Keir Starmer's Smash the Gang gimmick a year or so ago, which you'll notice he never mentions anymore, because so far this year we've seen record ever numbers of illegal immigrants crossing the English Channel, the highest number in history so far this year. And I'm afraid this so-called deal, this gimmick last week, is going to make no difference to that whatsoever.
And finally, the world #1 Yannick Sinner has won the Wimbledon men's single title for the first time by beating defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. The Italian won the match in 4 sets to prevent the Spaniard from winning his 3rd Wimbledon final in a row. They played in front of a crowd which included the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children, George and Charlotte. Well, those are your latest GB News headlines for now. I'm Lewis Mackenzie. More from me in an hour's time.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Welcome to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Let's have a quick whiz through all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Hot off the press, they're all in, starting with The Sun. Harry truce bid, but not with Wills. This is the exclusive that Charlotte Griffiths broke on the Mail on Sunday today. The Sun have followed. Prince Harry is ready to talk to his dad, the King, after approving a peace summit between their aides. And I did ask Charlotte Griffiths in the last hour Why do they need aides to start talking again? Why don't you just turn up to the Palace or Highgrove, wherever? So, hi, Dad, fancy a beer? Fancy a coffee? Let's sort this out. Why do you need aides and to be so formal? Anyway, The Independent. Prisoners on cruel, indefinite jail terms are being failed by the state. This is IPP sentences, imprisonment for public protection. That's according to Alex Chalk, the former Tory Justice Secretary. The Metro. Politicians, we don't trust any of you. Almost 90% of Brits have told a poll they have little or no faith in the political class, and 60% said they wouldn't trust either Sir Keir Starmer, Kemi Badenoch or Nigel Farage to watch their bags. The Eye. Measles surge, fears for summer holidays after a child dies amid low jab uptake. This is the sad death of a child in Liverpool with measles, rather. We understand they had other comorbidities, but crucially, it follows 17 other youngsters who were treated at hospital in Liverpool there in recent weeks after becoming seriously unwell. The Daily Telegraph, tax raid looms for middle classes. The definition of working people shifts again as Labour turns focus to high earners. Just down the bottom there, we did mention it at the top of the show, diversity and inclusion staff are now going to be eligible for skilled work visas. And the Home Office has also safeguarded visa application routes for the vocations of poet, blogger and DJ on a list of protected occupations. The Times, Bank of England could cut interest rates if the job market slows down. And there's a picture of Yannick Sinner, who won at Wimbledon today at the All England Club. And just down the bottom right-hand side there, if you're watching on telly, Brie is running short in England after a soft cheese import ban. Michelin star restaurants and upmarket delis in absolute chaos. The Guardian... Warning over Israeli ethnic cleansing plan for Gaza. At the bottom there, Ed Miliband will take on MPs who reject net zero aims. We'll talk about that in just a sec. The Daily Mail. Labour's doctors strike hypocrisy. Ministers criticise the medical union BMA for low turnout ballot. But Angela Rayner's flagship employment rights bill will make walkouts even easier. The Daily Express. Toothless new sex abuse laws won't protect children. And the Daily Mirror. The King backs Harry peace talks. AIDS summit is significant moment, but huge obstacles remain. I'd argue one of those obstacles is maybe Meghan Markle. But we'll see. Hopefully father and son can sort things out. Welcome back, panel. Welcome to you, Paul Cox. Welcome along. Chloe Dobbs is still here, and Bill Rammel's still here as well. Bill, should we talk about this measles one on the front page of The Independent? You were quite keen to talk about it.
Yeah, I think this is really concerning. You know, immunisation for MMR has fallen to 84% in the UK. The World Health Organisation says you need to be at 95% to get herd immunity. In Liverpool, where this tragedy took place, 1 in 4 young babies is not immunised for MMR. And, you know, if you get measles, and, you know, I've had measles, lots of us have had measles, but when it goes wrong, you can get encephalitis, you can get a whole host of pneumonia, and you can die. And I think there's really got to be a focus on an immunisation campaign within the community to drive up rates.
Be interesting to see how they're going to do it, though, Bill, because I think a lot of people are feeling very cynical about vaccines now in a way that we never did before the COVID vaccine. And I think the way that the COVID vaccine was imposed on people is presenting now in other ways. And it's presenting in the hesitation of parents for children. And I agree with you. MMR is always... Weirdly, MMR has always had a little controversy around it. It probably shouldn't... It was very incorrectly at one point in the early 90s blamed for autism, proven to be untrue.
Criminally dishonest research by Andrew Wakefield.
Exactly.
Well, no, can I just interject in that? RFK Jr. in America, the Secretary for Health, is carrying out a rather deep investigation into the number of vaccines that have been deployed on American children and the absolutely exponential rise in autism rates. I'm not saying they're linked, but I'm just saying he is looking into it. The Department for Health is looking into it in the US.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it... I wouldn't like to say it was linked. I have absolutely no idea. Obviously, I'm not qualified. Of all the people on the panel, I am the most underqualified person to make any medical decisions. But one thing I do know is imposing the COVID vaccine on the population of the Western world backfired dramatically. And now what we're seeing is people don't trust anyone to tell them what vaccine to have.
Backfired dramatically?
Well, I'm not suggesting...
You're seeing it here on the front page. That's how it backfired. It blew up... Let me tell you, Bill. I'll tell you. I did this... I'll repeat what I said last night. They blew up all trust in public health. When they came out and said, You, 25-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids, 35-year-old people who aren't going to be at risk of dying from COVID, you need to go and get a vaccine because if you don't, you're going to kill granny. If you don't, you're going to lose your job. If you don't, you're going to be sacked from the NHS. So many people, when they got vaccinated, when they didn't need to, because I argue the government lied that they stopped transmission. They never tested for transmission. Pfizer, for example, never tested in their trials for transmission. The government came out, Chris Whitty came out and said, go and get vaccinated to stop transmission to granny based on real-world studies, one study based on probably a dozen people. So millions and millions of people, and also they did it to go on holiday as well, young people getting vaccinated to go on holiday. People died from that vaccine. People were paralysed from that vaccine when they didn't need to get it, all over the world, not just in Britain.
And the bit you don't know is how many people would have died, and I think it would be many, many more if the vaccine hadn't been in place. And I do take the view, and there is evidence to back this up, that it helped to protect us. Also, never forget, there was wacko conspiracy nonsense going on about vaccines during the COVID crisis.
Such as?
Well, from politicians.
Well, hold on. I was working in Iraqi Kurdistan at the time, running a university, and and we were saying, you've got to get vaccinated. One of my academics came to me and said, if you take the vaccine, it changes your DNA. Absolute nonsense.
Well, it's a gene therapy. Pfizer call it a gene therapy. I'm not saying that it alters your DNA, but Pfizer call it a gene therapy. And it's no... again, I don't want to get bogged down in this too much, but they changed the definition of a vaccine. They started saying, well, vaccines don't stop transmission, they just stop you getting the worst of the symptoms. When, before COVID, did that ever mean the definition of a vaccine?
There were some people who had genuine concerns and genuine questions about vaccines, masks, lockdowns and whatnot, who were told they were crazy conspiracy theorists. There were also some idiots who were saying crazy things about the vaccine, which were just pulled out of nowhere, right? But the reality is this was essentially an experimental drug. It had just been invented. There was no way with whatever testing they had done we could know the long-term effects of this. So consequently, people were furious when it then started to, we started to find out that there were serious consequences of this vaccine for some people. And that has very sadly meant that loads of people are now dismissing all vaccines when actually they are... the invention of the vaccine was an absolute revolution in the history of medicine. We absolutely need vaccines, and people should not dismiss every vaccine just because we were given one that was an experimental drug. I think people need to take it upon themselves when they're considering getting a vaccine to do the research yourself, see how much has this vaccine been tested, how long has it been around for, what is the percentage chance, don't just read one story of, one person died from this vaccine and then decide, I'm not going to take it. You've got to take the risks into account, but we can't, as a society, just abandon taking vaccines altogether. We'll go back to days where far more people are dying of disease than...
Absolutely. But they blew up the trust. That's what they did. The health establishment blew everything up.
That's the point, isn't it? If you don't take away that trust... I say it again, how can you mandate a vaccine on anybody? People couldn't travel if they didn't have the vaccine. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah. I admit, I did it. I did it. I took the first two so that I could escape lockdown and escape to Florida and get out of this country. But we were told, there are no side effects. You'll be absolutely fine. I didn't think it was going to work.
No, come on. All the trials and processes were gone through. But
no, they weren't. They weren't.
There's no way it could when it was just invented. You have to study the long-term effects of something.
Because we were facing a public health crisis, they did the various stages in tandem.
It was emergency use. So all the normal trials of typical long-standing vaccines weren't followed.
There's no way that you can test the long-term negative effects of any kind of medicine or treatment when you've only studied it for about 5 minutes.
And I think unless...
speed that process up. You can put more time and resources into it, but you can't figure out what are the possible 10-year effects of taking a vaccine when you've just invented it.
Unless we collectively admit that the way they went about the rollout of the vaccine was in many ways unethical, we are never going to get to a point... I know you disagree, Bill, but we've created a huge amount of scepticism amongst parents.
Boris Johnson got right.
Well, OK, but I just think it created a huge amount of scepticism around vaccine. To mandate a vaccine, to mandate something being put into somebody's body and saying, unless you do this, then you won't be able to work, you won't be able to go on holiday, you'll be alienated from... There were comedy clubs would...
Awful.
Comedy clubs, promoters, places I worked, were trying to ask people if they were vaccinated or not. They couldn't work unless they were vaccinated. That's outrageous.
Just completely outrageous.
I have a friend who was a doctor in the NHS who did not want to get vaccinated because she had valid concerns. It was, a new experimental drug, and she nearly lost her job. All of her colleagues wouldn't speak to her. She was just hounded out.
It was an awful time.
Unacceptable.
And do you know what? It was an awful time. But it was also a very enlightening time as well. I'm quite grateful for COVID because it showed us the establishment's true colours, and also those around you and around us who was of the same mindset. You know, who had the balls and the guts and the common sense to stand up and say, hang on a minute, despite the whole world going with one narrative, something doesn't quite feel right here. And even in the early stages, when people were talking about the wet markets and the lab leak theory, they were called nutters and conspiracy theorists. Oh, what's going on now? It's generally accepted all around the world, even by COVID zealots, that it was a lab leak, gain-of-function research. Anyway, should we lighten the mood? Because in the Times, Britain's upmarket delis and Michelin-star restaurants are on the brink of running out of Italian buffalo mozzarella, creamy French brie, my favourite, and fresh goat's cheese. Actually, I think goat's cheese is my favourite. Because of overzealous border officials. An outbreak of lumpy skin disease among cattle in Italy and France led the UK to temporarily ban imports of unpasteurised cheeses made in the two countries after May 23rd. Bill, you have given up cheese. You're sober. Is that right?
No, I was sober. But no, I was telling you on Friday that I'd lost 3 stone in weight because I've gone on the drugs, and I do monitor the calorific intake of various things. And I love cheese to death, but it has got so many damn calories in it. It's not worth the candle.
I mean, cheese is one of the hardest things for people to give up because it has like the same effect on your brain as heroin. It is insane.
Does it? When did you last do heroin?
I'm saying I read
Some 18 months matured heroin.
No, it's something to do with this releasing the same free radicals to the brain or something. But it's insanely addictive. Anything that gives you a fast hit, right? The drugs that are the most addictive, like cocaine, for example, the ones that give you a really fast hit. Cheese, you've got all the fat and calories just concentrated down into this lump. You get a very fast hit.
Sounds good.
And it's
so it's very addictive, and that's why people really struggle to give it up.
It is, yeah.
Dangerous stuff.
Well done for giving up cheese, Bill. That's very good. I mean, cheese is delicious, and there's no getting away from it. But everything in moderation, surely. And you say you're doing the drugs as well.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, mate. So, does that not allow you to eat cheese, but just less of it?
You've read about it in the press. Your appetite is nothing like it was previously. It does suppress it.
I've lost a lot of weight in the last year, but I've not done the drugs at all.
All right, well, if you want a fancy cheese at a Michelin-star restaurant or an upmarket deli in Notting Hill or Islington, luck's out, unfortunately. Welcome to the real world. You ain't getting in. Or you could get some if you went to our Great British giveaway. It's your chance to win £54,321, as much brie, Edam, cheddar, feta, help me out here, guys, goat's cheese as you want. Here's all the details you need to win.
I felt like I should have done
This is your chance to enjoy luxury this summer. It's our biggest cash prize to date, an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash has to be won. What would you do with that? With all of that cash, you could just chill out, treat yourself and indulge in the finer things in life, somewhere like here, Downhall Hotel and Spa. You really could win the cash giveaway of the summer. Go on, treat yourself.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, good luck. I've got some really great footage to show you after the break. President Donald Trump celebrates the FIFA Club World Cup in New Jersey on the 1-year anniversary of his attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. We're going stateside to join Hillary Fordwich to discuss that and much more. And we have, as I said, some great footage of President Trump with the Chelsea team, as you can see on screen now, celebrating their win against Paris Saint-Germain. As far as I saw when I watched this a minute ago, Donald Trump was jumping up and down with the Chelsea squad. Keep your eyes peeled in just a tick.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Well, how about meeting the new ABBA? It's what a lot of people are calling Dad Harmony. It's a new Swedish a cappella group that are the biggest TikTok sensation you can imagine. They are everywhere at the moment, and they join us now. Really good to see you all. With us, we have this morning Thomas, Michael, Sebastian, Peter and Adam. Not necessarily in that order, but I know. There we go. Gents, it's really good to see you. I've got to ask, first and foremost, how did you get started? How do you even get together and think, this is something we can do?
Yeah, it's actually all of a coincidence, to be honest. It was, we were friends, but we were Peter had a bachelor party. And like 10 p.m. or something, we started to sing. And I recorded that song. And for some reason, I put it out on my TikTok account with like 7 followers or something. And then it blew up and got like, the first video got 22 million views, I think.
Beautiful.
Just
really
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
GB News, the People's Channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there short and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Well, President Trump is celebrating in New Jersey this evening at the FIFA Club World Cup, where London football club Chelsea, they've beaten Paris Saint-Germain 3-0, including a brace from Chippy Chips Cole Palmer. This evening marks 1 year since the assassination attempt on President Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania. We all remember that day, of course, and the iconic image it conjured up. President Trump has marked the event like only he knows how, as the official White House account retweeted this post, quoting the president's claim that he was saved by God to make America great again. Well, a new report has been published into that day and has revealed a series of Secret Service mishaps and blunders that led to the situation. Well, I'm joined now by US political and royal commentator Hilary Fordwich. Hilary, good evening. Thank you for your company. President Trump here celebrating with our English football team Chelsea in New Jersey, but I guess he's also going to be celebrating just being alive today on the 12-month anniversary of that assassination attempt.
Well, pleasure to be with you, Ben. And absolutely, he was having an absolute ball. This stadium, for our audience, it's in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's just about 5 miles west of New York City. I had a number of friends there, and they said he was absolutely in his element. He wasn't morose nor wallowing in, what happened a year ago. There was increased security, Ben. He was behind a glass shield most of the time, but the footage you're showing now, it actually was very complicated for the security because he insisted on being with the team. Congratulations to Chelsea, by the way, and really had a tremendous time. And he did not, as I say, he did not dwell on what happened exactly a year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania, July 13th last year.
Yeah, well remembered. I almost forgot as well. The post from Trump today in the White House said that God saved President Trump to make America great again. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think, everybody's beliefs, that's up to themselves. But I will say it's obviously inspired Trump. And I think that he has been a greater man because of it, because I think anybody who's ever faced anything life-threatening and who lives through it feels that in some way that they're meant to be here. You hear a lot of men that, go through war and they survive and they feel that, they've been saved for maybe a purpose. And so I think it's given him an extra dedication. He certainly is all for America first. And Ben, we just had some news that there's a $27 billion budget surplus from the month of June due to tariffs. So certainly he's done a lot of things, I think, in his first 6 months in office than any president ever in American history, Ben.
Yes, I saw that surplus. Quite astonishing, really. Do you think, though, just going back to the assassination attempt, do you think that won him the election last year?
I can't say that. Anybody who says that is silly because nobody can point to exactly what made it win. I will say this, as somebody who saw it, like I'm sure you did and many people across the world did. Look, in the moment, there's a lot of reactions a lot of people could have had, including, crawling to the ground. If he'd stayed on the ground, who would have blamed him? The way he came up, Ben, and his immediate reaction, how many of us would have that reaction, let alone his fist, fight. His resolve, his determination, I think, did inspire a lot of people that were on the fence about him. I think it did inspire them. I don't think anybody can say exactly why he won the election, but yes, I do think many were inspired by that.
Yeah, including, I think that was the point Elon Musk said that he, as far as I remember, the moment Elon Musk came out and said he would support President Trump, donated lots of money to him. Other people, such as Joe Rogan, the massive podcaster as well, who traditionally, same as Elon Musk, I guess, has always been a Democrat. So, yeah, I mean, history in the making. It's hard to believe it was a year ago. It feels like yesterday, to be honest with you. And there's, if you're watching on TV now, viewers, there is the moment from Butler, Pennsylvania, a year ago. Hillary, can we talk about something slightly different? Because there are reports today that Ghislaine Maxwell will be getting a pardon, or at least it's being mooted, from President Trump. How do you rate her chances?
Well, that's something not for me to determine. That's something obviously behind the scenes. But I will say, Ben, there's a lot of consternation here in the US at the moment because Pam Bondi actually declared that she had the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients on her desk to review. And then all of a sudden, there isn't a list anymore. And now Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously, this situation, I mean, I think that, quite frankly, if that list doesn't theoretically now exist all of a sudden, yes, her chances are certainly better. I can tell you, I'm sure that Prince Andrew is taking a huge sigh of relief since he now purportedly is less concerned about traveling. He was always very concerned, hasn't been to the US and hadn't traveled in the last 6 years. I think it's probably a good thing for him.
Yeah, of course, he denies I think he, as far as I remember, he denies even meeting the young lady who...
Yeah, he paid $12 million to her, but yes.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. The Epstein situation with President Trump is, as you said, it's quite bizarre. And I think, do you think it's hurting his base, the MAGA base? Because Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, Bondi, made this big deal about the dossiers. You had all the influencers on the steps of the White House saying, look, we've got the paperwork. The paperwork turned out to be a load of stuff from years before, and now we're told there is no conspiracy, there is no list. People such as Kash Patel, head of the FBI, are kind of reverse ferreting after years of talking about some Epstein cover-up. And now we hear Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's right-hand woman and girlfriend and lover and accused sort of runner, sex trafficker, is going to get a pardon.
Yes, and I think to your point, I think what this is going to do, I think there are many people who obviously always look to the deep state and they look to politicians regardless of which side they're on. They always manage to spend more money, look after themselves, look after their base, look after their own constituents and their own interests. And this is very much sniffing of the same thing, Ben. And I think you're right. It is going to alienate a lot of people.
OK, Hillary, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we catch up soon. Stay safe. Thank you very much. Right, let's get the views of my panel quickly. Any thoughts on Trump, Paul Cox?
Yeah, I mean, It's a miracle he survived. I think one thing we always forget, it always strikes me when we talk about this, is that there was somebody who died as a result of that shot.
Yeah.
Donald Trump didn't die, thank God, and he went on to become president, and great for him. But a family lost a father as a result of that, and it seems to be forgotten. It seems remiss to me for that not to be mentioned. Perhaps I'm not the man to do so. But
his name was Corey Compatore. He was, I probably butchered the pronunciation there, but he was a firefighter. His wife in October said she was furious at the Secret Service failures that led to his death, and he was just in the crowd. He was supporting President Trump. One of the assassin's bullets aimed at Trump hit Corey, and he lost his life. His family at the time said he lived for his family, and he died protecting them.
And there was, again, I'm not qualified to say this, but in my opinion, I think there's no way the Secret Service would have not given Biden that protection. I think the Secret Service could have done a lot better on that day. They didn't give Trump the protection. As a result, Trump nearly died, and that man died.
OK, thanks very much. Coming up next, we're going to look at some stories inside the papers, including why plant theft, I'm assuming that means plants as in, the things you grow, not
daffodils,
power plants, yeah. Plant theft is on the rise. It's getting out of control, apparently, in Britain. This is Ben Leo Tonight, late edition.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Low pressure starting to move in, so the heat wave ending. Still hot in the southeast for Monday, but many areas turning fresher. And we can see that nicely on the pressure pattern. Low pressure starting to dominate. Weather fronts moving in, bringing the risk of some heavy rain and thunderstorms in places too. This evening time, fairly quiet, though. As the bands of showers get going, we'll see some hefty downpours developing, particularly across Northern Ireland down into Wales. Some heavier showers developing across Northern England and Scotland during the early hours as well. But another very warm night to come. Temperatures widely 15 to 18 Celsius, so another fairly uncomfortable night for sleeping. And a different picture for Monday morning. Sunny spells and scattered heavy showers developing. So if we take a look at the details, we can see northern Scotland, some low cloud initially, best of the sunshine across the Highlands, drizzly across towards Aberdeenshire. But the risk of some heavy showers already pushing into southern Scotland, clearing Northern Ireland, still some for northern England as well. Bands of showers pushing across Wales, parts of England, but in between, sunny spells and temperatures on the warm side up to around 21 Celsius at 8 a.m. And then through the day, we'll see these bands of showers push north and eastwards, some thunderstorms developing. Could be quite torrential across northern England into southern Scotland come the afternoon. Some localised flooding possible here. But not everywhere will see the showers. Lots of places could stay dry, particularly across England and Wales. And fresher for all, the low 20s generally, but still towards 30 Celsius in the southeast. So still well above average for the time of year. Low pressure still dominating into Tuesday. Bands of showers, longer spells of rain pushing north and eastwards across many parts. Feeling much fresher as the winds pick up too. Temperatures generally will be around average for the time of year, reaching the low 20s, maybe 23 or 24. And it stays similar through the rest of the week with further rain at times too. See you later.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. Now, here's a story to get your teeth stuck into. In today's Daily Mail, it's been revealed that taxpayers are footing the bill for small boat migrants to go to the circus, play crazy golf and receive thousands of pounds worth of Amazon parcels. The lavish spending unearthed by Reform UK's efficiency audit of councils also included thousands of pounds spent on gift cards, purchases from Currys and Argos, and takeaways. Welcome back, panel. Paul Cox, not a bad time for small boat migrants in Britain.
Doing all right, isn't it? This is now becoming the most expensive virtue signal of all time, though, isn't it? But, you know, diversity inclusion officers. I mean, it's not a job, is it? It's really not a job, and it's not a job that anybody needs. It's not a job this country needs. It's not a job any business needs. I mean, we talk about and we bang on about equality the whole time. Diversity and inclusion officers are not perpetuating equality in any way, shape, or form.
Diversity is our strength, Paul.
It's not at all. We know it's not. It's just it's the main cause of the deterioration of this great country.
Chloe?
Are we talking about DEI or council spending?
I don't know. Let's talk about it.
I did. I just think. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is about council. But it's
talk about cheese if you want.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about the council spending that's been unearthed by Doge. I think they're doing a fantastic job already, not having been there that long, to just show the ridiculous waste that there is. You know, we're constantly told, oh, taxes need to go up, council tax needs to go up, because there just simply isn't any money. And then you find out that they're getting bouncy castle trips and whatnot.
Yeah, but everyone loves a bouncy castle.
Yeah, come on, Chloe.
Trips to Fortnum and Mason, driving lessons, all sorts. I mean, yeah, taxpayers are just being taken for absolute fools.
And also, Bill, OK, let's get your comments first of all on the freebies. Should they be getting sort of taken out for days out and things?
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. If you actually read it, right, these are predominantly unaccompanied children. Children. Who are being given that support. But I tell you what's really interesting.
40-year-old children.
Hold on. I'll tell you what's interesting, right? Because this is the big reform agenda of, you know, their Doge-style waste exposure exercise. The budget of Kent County Council is about £1 billion a year. You go through that Mail article, we are talking of relatively small sums of money. So the point I'm making is the idea that reform are going to unearth this massive, massive waste, which means no hard decisions have to be taken about public spending, I think is for the birds.
Everything about dinghy migration is a waste, though, isn't it? There isn't a single thing about that adds value to our country. We're done. It's over.
Even if the sums are quite small, like I'm not pretending for a second, Bill, that, oh, if you just take away the freebies, that suddenly we're going to have loads of cash to spend. A lot of it
But that's what reform are trying to purport. That's the agenda, that there's this massive waste going on, and all you need to do is to cut it. You could end migration tomorrow. You could scrap net zero, and you'd still have major, major challenges in terms of public spending.
You'd have less challenge, though, wouldn't you? Imagine how much. I mean, it's like, what's it, £10 billion a year on net zero? Goodness only knows how many.
It's 350 billion over 25 years, half of it from the private sector. So Farage says he'll use that to cut taxation below 20 grand a year. Cutting net zero would generate about £1 or £2 billion a year.
We have just had the OBR come and say, when you take into account the loss of tax revenue that we get from petrol and whatnot when people move to electric cars, that it will work out, I think it was 9.9 billion a year.
Bill, you say that the expenditure on small boat migrants, I can't quite recall what you said exactly, but I mean, it's the figure.
The figures in the Mail article, and I only had a chance to read it, but looked relatively small sums of money within the context of £1 billion budget.
Right, but generally, small boat migrants, according to the National Audit Office, the hotel accommodation alone is going to cost £15 billion over 10 years.
It's madness.
I mean, that's
Bill, it's absolute madness.
Yeah, of course, and that's why the government is determined to end the use of hotels and determined, through things like the deal with France, to reduce the numbers crossing. But the idea this can happen overnight, if people really believe that, they're misleading people.
Well, it's going to take more than a few nights if we're only sending 50 migrants back a week.
Well, it's a pilot to then be scaled
up. Which is probably going to be not even start, because the EU Commission and the lefty lawyers will stop it from even starting. Let's be honest,
nobody can bring a human rights case saying that if you're sent back to France, your human rights are going to be at risk.
Well, we've seen plenty of them. Bill.
I mean,
we've had Albanian criminals allowed to stay in the UK because their nephew doesn't like eating foreign chicken nuggets.
Yeah, and that's why the government is right to reframe Article 8.
So what you just said then was wrong then? You just said there's no human rights case where somebody can't go back, for example, to France, where we've had dozens of these examples.
You cannot mount a substantive claim and case that your human rights will be imperilled on its own by going back to France. That's why I'm confident that the legal challenges you're talking about will not win through.
OK, so 2 points. So, first of all, don't be surprised with what these lawyers can come up with, because let's not forget when we tried to put the migrants on the Bigby Stockholm barge, we had lawyers trying to stop them going on that barge on the basis that they have a fear of water. So God knows what they'll come up with. Also, if you send them back to France, once they're then in the EU, that means they can potentially be sent back to the first EU country that they arrived in, the first supposedly safe country that they arrived in. But I spoke to a lot of migrants who said, oh, we're coming to Britain because the first safe EU country we arrived in was somewhere like Bulgaria, where actually we were beaten up by the police and our human rights were not perspective. And that's why we're coming to Britain. So you may have migrants getting a lawyer saying, actually, where France might send me to might impact my human rights. I don't know, but...
Do you know what? The fact that it's 5 EU countries are trying to block this deal demonstrates to me...
That it's not going to happen.
No, that it's got teeth. Because actually, if you read the briefings, the European Commission is likely to support this because they do want a reset after Brexit.
Well, should we segue to the next story, which is definitely connected? And I hope this doesn't happen here in the UK. Let me just make that clear from the start. But violent clashes are erupting right now, tonight, between far-right groups and local residents and North African migrants in a town in southeastern Spain. The catalyst has been an attack on an elderly man by unknown assailants earlier in the week. 5 people were hurt. 1 was arrested during the unrest in Torre Pacheco, and is one of the worst such episodes of unrest in the country Spain has seen in recent decades. So, Paul, I'll say again, I do not want to see this happening in the UK. I hope tensions don't boil over to a point where we see similar things. I mean, I guess you could argue we already did last year with Southport under the guise that, you know, at one point this Axel Rudabakana was a small boat migrant. But is this a sign of things to come?
No, of course it is. I mean, already we've described the people that are the aggressors in this situation are far right. It's not far right to want to protect your community. It's not far right to want to protect your country. It's not far right to want to protect the incumbent culture in which you can well be very proud of without being far right. What's happening in Spain, what's happened in France, what's happened in the Nordic countries, what will happen in the UK is that people are getting fed up. And, Bill, you said that you can't stop this overnight. Of course you can. You have to break laws to stop this overnight, but if the laws don't protect your people, then break every single one of them. I'm sorry, stand on the cliffs of Dover and use force to stop dinghies coming, because every single dinghy is full of at least 50% of people that would cause harm to the culture of this country if they were given the chance.
Send them back to France?
Yeah. I would send them back to wherever they came from. I wouldn't care less.
Which is contrary to international maritime law.
I couldn't care less for that either.
You would need France's agreement.
No, I don't. This is the point. This is the point. We have got to a point. Well, I don't care.
We haven't agreed to France launching a load of dinghies off their coast towards our waters every night.
Just send them back. If those people, just imagine this, Bill, that if you were an aggressor against the UK, you were Russia or somewhere like that, would you not support these immigrants coming across on dinghies to disrupt this country?
Well, there was a huge splash.
It goes on all throughout the Baltic countries. Right now, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, Russia are flooding in immigration to try and undermine those Baltic countries. They've been doing that across Europe for years, and it's happening in the UK. We have to stop it to protect our country. I couldn't care less what law it breaks. At some point, we are going to have to break laws.
And my view is that you've got to tackle it with proportionate and legal means. So actually getting the French to intervene in shallow waters,
They're not doing it, Bill. I know it's a great idea, and if I was an old Labour MP, I would think it was a great idea too, but it's nonsense.
You say it's not happening. It was announced last week, and explicit within the announcement is this will happen in the next few weeks. So, you know, just because something doesn't happen immediately doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Usually when politicians say a few weeks, it means a few years at least.
But it's also not just...
That's nonsense, Bill.
They should have given us a date on when it's going to start in that announcement.
Next few weeks.
Bill,
that's not a date. That's ambiguous.
It's not ambiguous because the maximum of a few weeks is 3 or 4 weeks. If it hasn't happened in that time, you'll be right.
Let's have a fiver bet. Let's have a fiver bet on it, Bill. It's not going to happen.
I believe it when I see it, and especially.
Let's have a £5 bet on it.
I'd go more than that.
Given Labour's track record on the past year on sticking to their promises. I don't think many people are going to buy the saying a few weeks.
And also, I'll just say as well, you say progress doesn't happen immediately. It's not just that progress isn't happening immediately, it's just getting far, far worse.
Going backwards.
Immediately. We're going backwards. 44,000, I think.
We're not.
1,200
right.
since
Net
Starmer met
migration
Macron.
is down by half since the general election. And before you say it, yes, a number of the measures were actually, in the dog days of the last Tory government, agreed. Labour didn't oppose them, and they've actually reduced net migration by 500,000.
Every day.
Labour did not reduce net migration by 500,000. The Tories did. They changed the rules on the...
Listen to me, Chloe. I just said that. In the dog days of the Tory government, they implemented those measures. Labour didn't oppose them. They supported them. And that has dramatically reduced migration.
It's fair to say Labour have tried to take credit for that. They were all over social media boasting about it when we heard that the net migration figures had gone down. They're just playing with the numbers. I mean, we had the Transport Minister...
OK, so have they reduced by half?
Earlier,
have they reduced by half? Yes, they have.
Yes, they have. But they didn't do it. You may say, technically they supported the Tories. It wasn't their measure.
All right, great debate. I will just say, for Ofcom reasons, of course, we do not promote illegality or criminality, but I think, Paul, you were referring to breaking laws, international laws, maritime laws and so on, which isn't the same as domestic British
No, I'm
laws.
not... And I don't want to see any... I don't want to see any violence. What I'm saying is, if you stuck a naval ship at Dover... and you used our Royal Navy to stop the immigrants coming across on the dinghies, it would stop very quickly.
Yeah, if they want to do it, they can do it. If you just call a national emergency, say the security of men, women, girls, children in this country is under threat, you can do what you want. Well, I'd argue you do what you want anyway. Stuff it. Right, coming up, we'll recap on the front pages and see how retirement has been treating one Boris Johnson. He's been boozing it up. A right old knees up abroad, and we've got footage, we've got receipts. Stick with us on Ben Leo Tonight, late edition.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello, well there's plenty of hot and sunny weather across Europe, but there are still some showers out there for some of us. Across Madeira, sunny spells, some outbreaks of rain. Canary Islands, a mixture of sunny spells too. Plenty of sunshine across Portugal and Spain, with some showers across the Alps. Across the Greek islands, plenty of sunshine here and feeling hot. And that continues as we go through the week. Plenty of sunshine with temperatures into the low 30s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight, late edition. And there we go, that's the front page of The Sun. We're going to whiz through all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. The Sun headline reads, "Time to clear the air. Papa." This is the reconciliation bid between the King and his son, Prince Harry. Will it happen? The Independent. Prisoners on cruel indefinite jail terms are being failed by the state. Former Justice Secretary says IPP sentences, imprisonment for public protection, are overbearing and unfair. The Metro. Politicians, we don't trust any of you. This is a new poll showing 90% of Brits have little or no faith in the political class, and 60% of us, apparently, wouldn't leave our bags with Keir Starmer, Kemi Badenoch or Nigel Farage. The Eye, measles surge fears for summer holidays after child dies in Liverpool amid low jab uptake. The Daily Telegraph, tax raid looms for middle classes. And down the bottom, diversity and inclusion staff eligible for skilled work visas. The Times, Bank of England could cut interest rates if the jobs market slows down. The Guardian, warning over Israeli ethnic cleansing plan for Gaza. And just down the bottom there, Miliband to take on MPs who reject net zero aims. So Ed Miliband will explicitly call out politicians who reject net zero. The Daily Mail, Labour's doctors strike hypocrisy. The Daily Express, toothless new sex abuse laws won't protect children. Great picture there of the Princess of Wales taking it all in on centre court as Yannick Sinner won Wimbledon today. And the Daily Mirror, another royal exclusive, King backs Harry peace talks. AIDS summit is a significant moment, but huge obstacles remain. Right, should we get stuck into the important stuff? Because one Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister, has been oot and about partying on the continent. We're used to people calling for his return as Prime Minister or even Tory leader, but it looks like political retirement is suiting the ex-PM just fine after he was spotted letting down his famously scruffy hair at the Italian island of Capri. Take a look. Or was he too loving retirement too much?
I could see him coming back if it suited him. I think there's probably enough support for Boris.
Really?
In certain corners of the Conservative Party, which at the moment aren't in favour. So I never really see Boris Johnson coming back to frontline politics. Why would he? He's in Capri. But I think he's. There are certainly friends of mine that would never forgive Boris Johnson anyway. The Boris wave, in particular, with regards to migration, is something that upset a lot of people, particularly on the right of politics. I don't want that to be forgotten.
Yeah.
But I can't see Boris Johnson. I don't know where he fits in the environment of politics now.
OK. Right, let's move on. I'm going to end the show with a really sad story, actually. Donald Rose, here he is. The UK's oldest surviving World War II veteran has sadly died at the age of 110. Mr Rose served in the Queen's Royal Regiment as a sniper and survived a bullet to the leg during the D-Day landings. He served in North Africa and Europe and was awarded the French Legion of Honour, the highest award the French can give. Just want to say, and I'm sure the panel agree, all of us at GB News send our sincere condolences to his family and thank Mr Rose and indeed all his colleagues and compatriots for their extraordinary service to our country. May he rest in peace. Panel, thank you so much. Paul, Chloe, Bill, thank you viewers at home for your company this weekend. I'm back tomorrow morning, actually, after a few hours sleep with Britain's Newsroom, so I'll see you there. Good night, sweet dreams.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Low pressure starting to move in, so the heat wave ending. Still hot in the southeast for Monday, but many areas turning fresher. And we can see that nicely on the pressure pattern. Low pressure starting to dominate. Weather fronts moving in, bringing the risk of some heavy rain and thunderstorms in places too. This evening time, fairly quiet, though. As the bands of showers get going, we'll see some hefty downpours developing, particularly across Northern Ireland down into Wales. Some heavier showers developing across Northern England and Scotland during the early hours as well. But another very warm night to come. Temperatures widely 15 to 18 Celsius, so another fairly uncomfortable night for sleeping. And a different picture for Monday morning. Sunny spells and scattered heavy showers developing. So if we take a look at the details, we can see northern Scotland, some low cloud initially, best of the sunshine across the Highlands, drizzly across towards Aberdeenshire, but the risk of some heavy showers already pushing into southern Scotland, clearing Northern Ireland, still some for northern England as well. Bands of showers pushing across Wales, parts of England, but in between, sunny spells and temperatures on the warm side up to around 21 Celsius at 8 a.m. And then through the day, we'll see these bands of showers push north and eastwards, some thunderstorms developing. Could be quite torrential across northern England into southern Scotland come the afternoon. Some localised flooding possible here, but not everywhere we'll see the showers. Lots of places could stay dry, particularly across England and Wales, and fresher for all. The low 20s generally, but still towards 30 Celsius in the southeast, so still well above average for the time of year. Low pressure still dominating into Tuesday. Bands of showers, longer spells of rain pushing north and eastwards across many parts. Feeling much fresher as the winds pick up too. Temperatures generally will be around average for the time of year, reaching the low 20s, maybe 23 or 24, and it stays similar through the rest of the week with further rain at times too. See you later.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is Britain's newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Good evening, this is Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howie. On the show tonight, are the far right using comedy as a Trojan horse to tear down a progressive utopia? That's the claim from The Guardian this week, which we'll be debating in just a moment. A new report backed by the government has revealed a damning but obvious truth. Anti-Semitism has been normalised in middle-class Britain. And have you heard of respect orders? Probably not, as the government tries to sneak them into the crime and policing bill. They are potentially a huge threat to civil liberties, and we will be explaining exactly why. Also, one Irish student's display of the Israeli flag at a pro-Palestine event has sparked international controversy after footage shows he was violently confronted and forcibly removed from the venue. He is joining us here in the studio to tell us exactly what happened. And we've also got some comedians answering crazy cultural conundrums from our live studio audience. But first, the news with Lewis Mackenzie.
Josh, thank you very much. Good evening. It's just after 7 o'clock. Here are your latest GB News headlines. Let's start with that breaking news that a small plane has crashed shortly after taking off at Southend Airport. In a statement, Essex police say that they remain on the scene of a serious incident and were alerted to reports of a collision involving one 12-metre plane. Images